G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report, 22 to 31. And look, it's starting to get humid in Bundaberg here. Yeah, we're sort of in the stormy season. It's building up. November, yeah, we usually get quite a few storms through. Haven't had a lot. There's been a few storms going around, but not much landed on the property here. And it's starting to burn off. Like the grass is quite dry at the moment, and yeah, we could do with like another inch of rain just to keep it all nice and green and keep it all going. But anyway, that gets me out of the shed and onto the mower, which I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind sitting on a rider mower and roaring around and driving the John Deere to do the slashing of the main paddocks there. That's not a bad job. So got something in my eye. So yeah, well, see how it goes. But at the moment, there's not much use doing anything. If we go mowing now, it'll just burn it off, and yeah, we'll have nothing left. So yeah, but you know, they're around everywhere. The humidity's in the air. It feels like it's building. It's quite overcast outside today. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll get little bits of filming done in between stuff. If we do get a bit of weather, because I have a bit of time at home now, hopefully I can get a few videos out. I popped a video out through the week of the 65, what we're up to, and I got a bit more done yesterday. I've got the radiator in and bolted down, and the shroud bolted on properly and things like that, which I'll take a bit of a video of at the end of the stew. But I have a bit more to do in cleaning up the fuel tank and sitting that in place, and then well, there's two things got to go on with the 65. One of them is start bolting the grill panels and all on before paint, and just try to work out what needs twigging, what we need a new panel for. I do have a lot of new panels for that, but I have to work out what goes where, and if it's going to bolt straight back up or whether I'm going to be fiddle-diddling around trying to get it all nice and straight. So that'll take a while. The other thing is I've got the final drives ready. Oh, well, they're not ready. They're on a pallet just out the back here, so I can lift one with a forklift, and I'm going to try and get them on one of my engine turning stands so I can turn it and film it and all that. So that shouldn't be too far away, the final drives. I just have to get it mounted and get it pressure cleaned off a bit and things like that, tidy it all up. So, and look, I'm hoping to get a little bit of that this week. You might be able to hear the doors rattling in the background. There's a slight little breeze, and it's just enough to rattle the doors in the tracks. But anyway, I don't think it'll be too bad. I don't think you'll be able to hear a lot of it. I can dial a little bit of it out. But pardon me. Yeah, last week Dean and Nikita had their first week in business, and look, it appears they did all right. I haven't spoken to him this week yet, but I probably will a little later. Once I'm up editing the stew, I'll say g'day and see how he's going. But yeah, look, they were on Facebook, and yeah, they seemed happy. They survived the first week with not many more grey hairs, they reckon. And I said, oh, you fellas wait till you've had it a few months, you'll be just like me, white. So, I mean, they seem to be going all right. Last week we had meetings with the banks and the bloody, the bullshit, you know. I've spoken about it before, and yeah, I had to go to the bank, and I had to go in and sign a paper and bug around, and everything else is, I'll just go to the counter and do that. She's right. So we could have just signed a paper at the counter. And anyway, they're releasing the guarantee that we had to go over the mortgage, and so we've only got another couple of weeks to have that into Dean and Nikita. And they dick around, oh, can't do it then, do it then, and yeah. So anyway, we went in there, and the money that we have to pay tax on, we thought we'd put in a term deposit, and he said, oh yeah, I'll get that organised, I'll get you the interest rates, so we thought, oh yeah, good, eh? Well, we waited and waited and waited and waited, and anyway, the new week clicked over, and the interest rates had gone down 0.4%. And he says, oh, this is the best deal, and I think it was 4.5% interest, I think, or something like that. And he says, just tell us, I'll pop it over in there for you. And I went back to him and I said, no, look, you're not even competitive, mate. So, bloody, yeah, we can get 4.9 and 5% this week, but it'll probably change next week. But you can tell that they're expecting the interest rates to go down, because the longer the term, the less it is. And if you go to about 8 months, 8 or 9 months, which will get us into the next financial year, which is what we want. We don't want any company profit in this year, since we sold the business. We want it in next year, so we need to tide it over to next year. But yeah, if you go to 12 months, it was 4.9, now it's 4.5 as of this week. So yeah, it's pulling back. So they are expecting the home loan, they are expecting the interest rates to pull back. So yeah, for people with a few bob in the bank term deposits, it's probably not the best, but yeah, they've had their turn, me included, we've had our turn, and to have interest rates cheaper for some of the young families in Australia, yeah, look, that'd be great. A little bit of relief, so a little bit of financial relief for the families, and everyone will feel good. So if you follow Facebook, you'll see I went to Brisbane last Friday. My mate Dave turned 50, and Dave and Jody were one of the couples that went to Cape York with us last year, and Mick and Margaret from Mergen. We all met down there, and for Dave's 50th, Jody, his wife, had booked a party boat on the Brisbane River. So Friday night we jumped on this party boat and we drank beer and had cake, and it was a barbecue boat, and it was a bloody lovely old wooden single hull vessel, and I wouldn't mind betting it had a gardener or something in it, but anyway, we didn't get to that. Yeah, we went up the river at night, and yeah, they had a chef there cooking a barbecue, and yeah, we had a couple of nice burgers and a few beers and mucked around. Had to walk down there, and my whole knee playing up a bit. But the thing is, Mick's knees are playing up too. So you know, we've both been workers over our lives. So we just took it steady, and away we went. And yeah, it was probably 600-700 metres to where our motel was, to where we had to hop on Brett's Wharf there. And yeah, we jumped on the boat and had a bug around, and yeah, we hopped back off, and we were the older ones on the boat. We're them old grandpas in the corner. And but anyway, yeah, once the boat finished at about 10 o'clock, well, we got home at 10 o'clock, and yeah, everyone else was going to the Hamilton Hotel to play up, and yeah, look, they were playing up till the wee hours of the morning, and by the look of a few of them the next morning, I'm glad I didn't. I think Steve was really 2 or 3 a.m. they got in. And yeah, I'm not sure I'll be much good at that. The motel we stayed at, they had like a 24-hour restaurant down the bottom there, and it was lovely. We had views of the river, but you know, through high rises. So look, it was good for a change. Not my cup of tea full time. I don't know how people live there, but I can sort of see how they, you know, just pop downstairs to the gym and pop downstairs to the pool. Like, we had a nice pool area on floor 3, and yeah, I can see how people, you know, young people in there, it's jump on the City Cat, whiz into work on the City Cat. Yeah, I can see how people like it, but just not for us. And the traffic was okay. You just hop off the Gateway motorway there and pop down to Hamilton. You're right. On the Saturday, that was Friday night, we did the run up the river. On Saturday, Jody said, we'll go to Fallon's brewery under the Story Bridge. So we got an Uber in there, and we told them for 6 adults, and this bloke turns up in a Mitsubishi Outlander, and it's got 3 in the back, 1 passenger in the front, then the 2 little pop-down seats. So Dave... I think Dave and Judy might have ended up in the pop-down seats at the back, and he said, the old mate, that little Asian fella, he says, you should have ordered 2. And Jody says, well, we said 6 adults. Oh, you should have ordered 2 squeezy. But anyway, he took us over there, and he drove all right, and then we come back from there, and we were going from Fallon's Brewery, so we went and had a brew there, couple of snorts, and had a look around. And we thought we'd go back to the Brecky Creek Hotel in Brisbane for lunch. And look, great food, and they've got beer on the wood, the old 4X, the proper wooden 4X barrel, and they changed them out. And I mean, So we thought, well, we'll go and have that. So we got this next Uber driver, and he was an Indian fella. Well, holy shit. He turned up in his other little car, so here we are all packed in the back again. And we're thinking, can you just tell them it's full-size adults, not little weeds? And anyway, this bloke, holy shit, wasn't he going? And in the back streets of the city, catching up to other cars, 64, 65 kilometres an hour where it's 50 and 60, and we had to come across a lane of traffic, so he just noses in and winds his window down and tells the traffic to stop and pushes. It's a wonder he didn't get a bit of a biffo. But anyway, he was a bloody wild driver. We're sort of all nearly happy to hop out there because once he dumps us, well, he can get another fare in. So went to the Brecky Creek pub for lunch and had a couple of beers off there and off the wood. And look, it was nice. We got another Uber back to the motel. So the girls reckon they were going to have a bit of a camp because we're going out to Eat Street that evening. And Dave says, he might find a pub down the main, in Hamilton there, find a place for a beer, and we'll meet the girls down there later on. So that's Mick, Dave and myself. We thought that was a good idea. And so we went to one little bar and outside, and it had a picnic table with an umbrella, and the umbrella was down, so we thought, we'll put the umbrella up and we'll just sit outside, that's fine. So we had one beer there, and the old mate comes and says, you got to put the umbrella down. We said, why is that? It'll blow away. If we get a bit of a blow through, it'll blow away. And we said, it should be right. And you could see the metal base, it wasn't bolted down, but metal base, and we said, no, put it down. And so we sort of told him to blow it out his arse, and found another place to have a beer. But what that had you then was we were sitting out in the sun, no shade, no nothing, just sitting out in the sun. And look, I think it might have been because Dave had a beach singlet on and thongs, and everyone else was pretty dressy. I wasn't dressy, I had a bloody t-shirt on and thongs. But everyone else was dressed a bit better than us. And when we went inside to have a look, we thought, wonder if they'd mind if we have a singlet on in here. And so anyway, rather than push the point, we went outside. And but anyway, that wasn't good either. So off we went, and we found this other little bar, and we settled in there. And the women come looking for us about 4 o'clock, 4:30, something like that. And so we all grabbed another Uber. And the Uber from Brecky Creek Hotel back to the motel, it was a Mercedes little van, bloody ripper thing. A nice bloke, drove sensibly the whole thing, and it was a great experience. And then we got another Uber to Eat Street, which is only about 1.5 kilometres away. But Jody has sore feet, I have a dicky knee, so we thought, we'll just do that. So what turns up but a bloody red Mitsubishi Outlander again. Dave's in the back. And we had, out of the Ubers, I think we had 4 of those when we were asking for one for 6 adults. We only had one van style one, so. But never been to Eat Street before. Eat Street's well worth a visit. All the different cuisines and things like that around, and they have these boutique beers there. And look, some of these boutique breweries, I reckon if you drank the dishwater, it'd be just as good. Some of the stuff, pale ales. I don't think I've ever had a nice pale ale. And anyway, I found a stout, a nice dark, heavy milk stout. So. I had a stout, and once I got onto the stouts, I was good. They were good and heavy, bit of hit. But they had bloody Coffin Bay oysters from South Australia, so we grabbed a dozen of them, and I don't know what it cost. I'll have a look one day, or I won't. But it was a great weekend. And Sunday, we all met for breakfast downstairs, and for Dave's 50th, Mick had made him Mick used to have an engineering shop, and he made him a nice fire pit for his camping because he loves camping. Pardon me. And so then we went our separate ways, and travelled home and got home Sunday evening, or Sunday afternoon really, and didn't feel much like coming up the shed doing anything. But yesterday was Monday, and I had a bit of stuff to tidy up, a bit of office work because I didn't do any on Friday. So even though I'm retired, I still have to spend an hour or two in the office every day still. And but anyway, I did get up here yesterday, and the 65 behind the camera there, I'll I'll spin you around there shortly and just give you a quick look at what I've done there. I spent a bit of time early in the piece welding legs on the radiator shroud and making sure that didn't rub, and then I painted it the other day. So on the 65 video I said about painting all in under the timing and around the fan and the radiator and getting in the shroud so it doesn't rust and things like that. Well, I've got all that done, which you can't see, but I can sort of show you anyway. And yeah, I just used up the paint in the end. And on the battery support that bolts onto the steering box in the back of the engine there, I had that cleaned and sanded and painted in CRC rust converter, and so I got it and I've painted that Stonely grey as well, and I've got it bolted in place. But geez, I'm sweating here today, this morning. There's no breeze really. There must be enough breeze to move the doors slightly, but there's nothing in here because I have it a bit closed up a little bit. Just to do the stew to keep the noises out. So yeah, look, that's about it. Oh, I went shopping. Okay, for a tyre inflator, I've had this JMEC PEM one. Now, look, JMEC PEM, they're a great brand of tyre gear, and this one's a digital one. And I've had this one for a long time, but what I find is to get the little screen there, there's a battery in here. I've cleaned the terminals and all that, and sometimes it won't work, and I've got to undo the battery and give it a twiddle and pull it out, tidy it up, and put it back in, and it'll work for a while again. But there's no corrosion in there. But I thought, I've been carting this one around in the ute with me, and when you want to deflate your tyres or pump something up, it's a pain in the bum because of this digital gauge. So I'm going to leave this one at home in the shed here because I only have one, and so this one's going to stay at home in the shed. But I went and bought another JMEC PEM because I reckon they're the best. But this time I bought the analogue gauge. So you've all used these at service stations. They're good quality. And this has got an analogue gauge. This is going in the ute. So it doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. If I want to let my tyres down, pump them up, I don't have to worry about a battery, carrying a spare battery, which I've had to do with that. So what is it? It's a JMEC PEM TDR 2000 tyre inflator. And so, yeah, I've gone back to analogue. I just think it's a better, more robust thing. And while I was in there, I was a sucker for a good air nozzle. JMEC PEM make nice air nozzles. Apparently this end comes off and swappable, but there's a little spring thing there, but I haven't worked out how to get the bloody thing off properly yet. And it's one of those things that you probably just got to get it over there, but I don't know, I feel like I might break it if I push it too hard, so we'll see how we go. Pardon me. Apart from a bit of work on the 65, I've done a couple of the threads on the welding bench. I'm just pacing myself. I'm getting a couple done every few days. And look, what I might do, I might set the camera up on the lathe. A couple of those little bolts that I wasn't going to use because I couldn't hold them, I've worked out now if I just hold them in a nut, drill the hole down the middle, take them off, put them over on the welding bench with a lock nut, and then I can bring my little tap handle down. That will have them nice and true to the welding bench. Not that it's probably that important, but yeah, look, that's just how we're doing it at the moment, so we'll see how we go. But I'll show you what I'm doing there, just as a point of interest, and yeah, we'll go from there. Hang around, we'll have a couple of little videos at the end here, eh? Okay, that's the 65 for the moment. You can see I've painted inside the holes. Now I've got the corks in, so the next coat of paint will go across the corks. I've painted all inside. I've tidied up the radiator, put a good coat of paint all around that, all the fan shroud, all that. Yeah, it's a little bit rough there. I might just sand that a little bit. I reckon there's a bit of dust there that I missed. I've got the battery box support in, this fella here. That's all painted and in. So I think what I can do now, I'll just come around this other side here. I think what I can do now is yeah, work on the fuel tank. I've got the fuel tank sitting over near the back door ready to be tidied up. So I want to put the fuel tank on it hooks onto these bolts here, and another couple of cup head bolts, one here and one there, and the tank sits up there. You have room for one battery. In a Mark II, you had 2 batteries in a Mark I, and I've been cleaning the threads. That's a tap socket. I don't know if you've seen them before. I've had them for many years. But I'll take you over round the corner here to where it wants to blow the picky out. And so, yeah, you might be able to see that okay. So what the story is here, I should have had one ready. I'll put you down. Okay, so I have that ready. I screw that down. I lock him off here with my trusty fit awl. Usually I go down further. And then I bring my magnetic tap holder over, and this tap goes in there, and we just run it down the hole. So you can see how that works. So I've got a lot more of the holes done now. I have holes all the way through, in through there. I've still got to do over that side yet, but I just haven't got to it. I'm doing a couple every day. Yeah, it's just one of those jobs. If I'm sitting here looking out the window at the weather, which is something that does happen, yeah, if I do that, I often think, oh well, I'll just tap another hole while I'm here, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I screw these down a bit deeper than that, and there's one of the ones that was just made out of the threaded rod. But I have worked out now that by using these little slugs, I can still get away with it, and that'll give us a nice straight thread. And then what I do here is put that on there, and that's a clamp and bolt up there if I want, and these come in different lengths. And then this will also go straight into this one over here and lock down. So we'll lock that down, and solid as you like. So yeah, I'm just putting along with that, just enjoying the process. I have been sorting parts out. That other grinder that I brought up last week, I haven't done anything with that yet. It's just still sitting there. I'm not 100% sure which way I'm going with that. I've got to play with those water pumps and the gauges still, a little bit to do there, but I have a lot of these slugs, and these slugs, all I do here is I screw them in. I grab the nut with the 6-jaw chuck, and I drill, I think it's an 8mm hole through the guts. And then once I have the 8mm hole drilled, well, then they go over to the bench and they get the other thread tapped. So I'm just using that as a little fill-in too. If I don't want to get too excited with anything, I come and do some of this. But yeah, apart from that, it's all still looking okay. And I've just had this open to put the corks in the 65. But yeah, the place is still looking good, and yeah, we're actively trying to keep it that way.